I want to bring the biggest star of them all into the discussion, and that's LeBron James. You're a Laker fan, Chris Canty. Yep. As we speak, with all of these other machinations, all these other chess pieces being moved around, is LeBron seeing his last best chance of winning one more championship slip away? Because if the Nets do decide that their best course of action, even if reluctantly, is to bring Kyrie Irving back, is that basically the end of the Lakers' best chance going forward?
Oh, yeah, G, it's over. I mean, if the Lakers can't reconfigure their big three, and by that I mean find a way to move off of Russell Westbrook and add a better player, someone like Kyrie Irving, then there's no chance that LeBron is going to be able to get it done and compete for a championship in the West. As much as I like Anthony Davis and agree with him being one of the best bigs when he's healthy, he's not available enough. You're talking about a guy that's missed half the games the Lakers have played over the last 2 years. And Greeny, he's knocking on age 30. Show me when the last time we've seen a big man get healthier as they get older when they've had an injury history like Anthony Davis. It doesn't happen. So, yeah, I think this is LeBron James' last best chance of competing for a championship slipping away. As much as I like what Darvin Ham is saying, their new head coach, I just don't think the Lakers will have the firepower to get it done.
It's an interesting point here, Wendy. So where do the Lakers, you ran through a 4-team scenario and all these other stars, what role do the Lakers play in how all of this plays out?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple of change agents that could happen. Two jump out to mind that could change the current scenario. One is if Kevin Durant comes forward and says something. Whether he says, look, I asked for a trade from the Nets, and I still want to trade from the Nets. I don't care what you think about running it back. That would tip the apple cart for sure. The second is if LeBron makes a Kyrie Irving acquisition an issue in his potential contract extension talks, which can begin next month. Now, I'm not sure that he's going to do that. I think LeBron didn't like the blowback that he got for being part of the blame for the Lakers doing the Russell Westbrook trade. I think he wants the Lakers to improve. I think he'd love to have them get Kyrie Irving, but I'm not so sure that he wants to walk in, pound his fist on the table and say, I'm not signing this unless you get Kyrie Irving. But because that is still out there, and because that is an unsettled issue, which is a significant issue for the Lakers, what LeBron's future there is going to be, I have to leave it out there on the table as something to watch for.
That's very interesting to me. Friedel, what do you think?
Greeny, who cares if LeBron signs this thing or not? I'm sitting here watching this Kevin Durant thing unfold. If we've learned anything in the last few years in the league, if a star wants to get dealt, he's gone. And he will usually find a way. So I know that is a huge, huge issue for the Lakers organization. But recent history tells us LeBron can sign any piece of paper there is, and then in a year say, I don't want to play with Russell Westbrook anymore. Anthony Davis can't stay healthy. This team is a mess. They're not very good. I want out of here.
That's fair. But I will say this, just sort of taking everything at its face value in the moment in which we exist. I described the other day, and I do not mean this to sound as disrespectful to Russell Westbrook as it probably comes off. Westbrook is a Hall of Fame player, and he still has a lot left to do in the NBA. But he is such a bad fit. He is such a square peg in a round hole or whatever it is with that group that I said if they're able to turn Russell Westbrook into Kyrie Irving, it's a miracle. It's a basketball miracle that could save and provide their only chance. So to me, Chris Canty, they have to do whatever they can to make that happen. Whatever it is they can do to make that happen, that's what they need to do.
No doubt about it. And Rob Pelinka has to put that 2027 first-round draft pick that the Lakers have on the table if it means being able to flip Russell Westbrook for Kyrie Irving. We've seen that he's been hesitant to do that at the trade deadline. LeBron James expressed some frustration because they didn't do so. But I think this is something that you have to take a look at. But again, Brooklyn is holding all the cards. Both of those guys, Kai and KD, have expressed they don't want to be there. But I don't know how much leverage either one of them has in terms of forcing their way out of town, which makes this a fascinating situation.
Quick final word, Wendy, go.
New York Post today, we have a Kyrie Irving source saying he's ready to go back in Brooklyn. I find that report probably credible, and that's Kyrie's trying to take a posture on the position as well. Again, now we wait for Durant.
Friedel, renew the condo. You're coming back to Brooklyn I'm telling you right now, you're coming back to Brooklyn for another season. That's what's going to happen. Be ready. Be ready. Be ready to fight that traffic on Atlantic every single night as you head to Barclays, because that's what your life is going to be for another season.
Back with you on Get Up, and we're playing a little game of right or wrong with Nick Friedel. Starting with the Suns. Nick, the Suns are the favorite in the West with DeAndre Ayton back. Right or wrong?
Wrong. Ryan, I doubted the Warriors last year. I'm not doing it again. The confidence level in Golden State is off the charts. It's the Warriors to lose.
Okay, yeah, nobody's ever doubting the Warriors again. Kyrie Irving will be traded by training camp. Right or wrong?
I am actually going right here. The culture was toxic at the end. Everybody in that Nets organization understood that while it wasn't all Kyrie's fault, a lot of it was. I would be very surprised if they dropped him back in to start training camp.
Wow, and this from a man who's covered them for the last couple years. So KD will play his first game for the Nets this season. Right or wrong?
Right. And it's all on Kevin right now, Ryan. Only he knows if he would come back. But if the Nets believe him to be the person he's always been, he's not going to sit out and wait. I'd expect him, if they don't get back what they want, to be there at the start of the season now.
Okay, so you think Kyrie's out and you think KD's in. So this sets up a really interesting dynamic, and let's bring everybody back in, because initially Kyrie was the guy who brought KD there. So Zach, do you think it's going to end up the way Nick Friedel is saying? KD in, Kyrie out by the start of the season?
I have absolutely no idea at this point, but you're right. That is really interesting. The idea that Kevin Durant would be happy to come back and play if the Nets by that point had already traded Kyrie Irving, let's say, to the Lakers for Russell Westbrook, a little Oklahoma City reunion, and a draft pick or two. Does Kevin Durant want to come back and play for that team if he thinks it's taken a big step back and can't contend anymore? How does and Simmons even work in this theoretical flamer? I think that's very interesting. But look, that's certainly what the Nets are betting on. That KD's a baller, that KD's a hooper, that he's not going to hold out or sit out or pout, that he's above that and he's going to play and fulfill the obligations of his contract, even if he's unhappy. Only time will tell. I think he is still right now steadfast on his desire to be elsewhere next year. But right now and training camp are a long way apart in NBA terms.
Yeah, it's true. And, you know, Windy, what I really don't get about all this is Zach is right. We're talking about the best chance for KD to win a championship, that he's a baller. He went there on the idea that Kyrie being involved in that would give him the best chance to win. Kyrie's still the same player. I understand the whole idea that he's not around a lot and all the culture stuff. And, Nick, you make a great point. But in some ways, wouldn't that be the optimal situation for KD?
He has not articulated the reason why he asked for the trade demand. And because of that, we would just be surmising. And I just think that's a dangerous game to play in this situation. I think the way the sage Jerry West put it is the best way to put it. There's nobody in this league that is more respected than Jerry West. What Jerry West said was that he could see why Kevin Durant would want out, and he doesn't think that the Nets have a trade for him and probably shouldn't trade him. Both things are true. So how do we handle it? In the middle of July, we just don't know yet. So there are teams out there who are in the Durant sweepstakes, and they're not interested in improving their offer. So as a result, there's a stalemate. And the Nets are holding a hand that has a bunch of losing cards in it. And the best of those cards is to try to get Kevin Durant back. That is the strategic play here, but we don't know how Durant feels about it.
Okay, so you bring up so many good, interesting points, and you bring up Jerry West, the former GM. So I want to bring in our GM, Mike Tannenbaum, because, Mike, here's what I want to ask you. Put yourself in this situation as a GM. You've got KD requesting a trade. You've got offers that don't suit you at this point for KD. So you can't go back to KD, at least I don't think you can, and say, KD, we're just not getting what we want for you, so you're going to have to stay here. If I'm KD, I'm like, I don't care. Get whatever you can. I'm not going to be here. I don't want to be here. How do you talk to him about staying in staying in Brooklyn and being fully invested in this team?
You do it earnestly and authentically. And look, Kevin, this is going to be a marriage of convenience, because let's be really clear here. You are under contract for the next 4 years. We will try to trade you, and if there is a deal that makes sense for us, we will do that. However, My responsibility as Sean Marks is to the Brooklyn organization, and we will not trade you or Kyrie Irving unless we get requisite value. So be comfortable being uncomfortable and being a Brooklyn Net, and you have to play great and give everything you got, and we will, in good faith, try to make a trade. But if there's not something that's in our best interest, and we've seen what the market is this summer, then we're simply going to hold. And look, those are the tough conversations that GMs have to have. I was an agent for a while, Ryan, and sometimes agents hear things they don't want to hear, but that's the reality. He is under contract, and the Brooklyn Nets have zero obligation to trade Kevin Durant. As uncomfortable as that may be for him, that's just the truth.
Wow, interesting. You're coming at it right from the perspective of, I talk to him directly, I say exactly what I think. Nick Friedel, you've covered Kevin Durant for the past couple of years. You've been there with him in that building in Brooklyn for years. How do you think something like that is received?
Kevin respects honesty, Ryan, and I think Mike is right on it. Kevin wants you to come at him and discuss things openly, and this is key to point out here. The Nets organization respects the hell out of Kevin Durant. They appreciate that he has come to work every day the last 3 years, and he has been the face of that team, and he has been the one that everybody respects and that everything has revolved around. That hasn't changed. The key question in all of this is whether or not Kevin Durant would come back to Brooklyn without Kyrie. And only Kevin has that answer, and only he knows what's going to happen moving forward. But nothing has changed as far as the Nets are concerned. Everything that organization has done over the last few years revolves around Kevin, and it's
At the Summer League, some people started thinking that the Nets, Raptors, and the Lakers could be talking about a potential three-team trade featuring Durant and Irving. Here's what the hypothetical three-way deal could look like. Toronto Raptors receive Kevin Durant and Joe Harris. Los Angeles Lakers receive Kyrie Irving and Seth Curry. Brooklyn Nets receive Russell Westbrook, Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, Gary Trent Jr., Talen Horton-Tucker, a 2023 first-round pick, a 2025 first-round pick, a 2027 first-round pick, a 2028 first-round pick, 2 2023 second-round picks, and a 2025 second-round pick. Giving up all those assets would be a tough decision for the Raptors, but it's something that they would strongly consider if they believe that Durant could help them win their second NBA championship title. Ujiri made a similar move in the summer of 2018 when they acquired Kawhi Leonard from the San Antonio Spurs. Though he only stayed for 1 year, Leonard helped the Raptors bring the first-ever Larry O'Brien Trophy to Toronto in the 2018-19 NBA season. Durant may already be 33, but when he's 100% healthy, he's still one of the best active players in the NBA. However, to have a realistic chance of achieving their main goal next season, the Raptors would still need to add a starting caliber center who would complement their core of Durant, Harris, Scotty Barnes, and Fred VanVleet. Though it would cost them Horton-Tucker and 2 future draft assets, the proposed blockbuster trade should be a no-brainer for the Lakers. The suggested deal would enable them to reunite LeBron James with Irving while acquiring another quality backcourt starter in Curry. Despite his off-court issues, Irving would be a massive upgrade over Westbrook at the Lakers'